This is going to be a video about AI and actually the book marketing. However, this is really about AI and this hype that we hear every day about it doing away with all kinds of jobs. Now, I have been looking into the AI because I'm in the process of right now finishing a book and I need a book cover. Okay, so I have joined several of these AI tools and I have been using them for several days, looking into what one does versus what the other one does. And they're all good at one or two different things. However, they all work about 20 minutes and then somehow they just go upside down and they just start spitting out whatever they want. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Now, this one I use every day. It's Gemini. Okay. I have signed up for their pro program, but I think you can produce pictures without paying any money. So, anyway, going up to the top, I'm going to just start where it starts going crazy. Okay, so the first picture that it produced is very good. It's exactly what I asked for, and I'm going to probably use this on the book cover. However, I went and gave it these elaborate descriptions of all the characters and the scene and the whole thing. So sometimes it just decides I can't generate certain things. So, I asked for it again. It gave me a different angle. It's not bad. This one here, I wanted him to look like he was listening, but but the AI didn't first of all, it didn't follow the instructions for 16 by 9 size. It didn't make the bedroom light and him looking into the darkness. Okay. And this one, I had said no words on the book cover. Okay, so here's his name. Okay, some of the pictures are pretty good, to be honest with you. Now, I asked it to extend the bedroom a little bit. Let me see if I can shrink this so that we can see the whole picture here. Okay, so here it did give me a better bedroom that had more light in it, and it was supposed to be looking outside when it was dark outside. Now, as you can see, there's no darkness outside, and they forgot the author that is the character in the book. So then I told them about it, and they produced a picture that had nothing, which is right here. Then it recreated the picture, but again, it forgot to put Miguel, who's the character in the picture, and it's still giving me daylight outside. So here they did put Miguel in the photograph. Okay, but he's kneeling on the bed when I said put him standing next to the window. So here they did put Miguel standing against the window, but as you can see, they left Miguel also kneeling on the bed. So my point is, then I told them about the problem, and it just recreated the same bedroom. So then I had to say, let's start again. I just want Miguel at the window and whatever. So they finally got this together, and I can use this. However, I'm still going to need to use my graphic skills to create the look of darkness outside the window and cast a little bit of moonlight or whatever. So this is not usable just as it is. You're going to still need digital artists that can use what is produced and create exactly what you want. This is just one example. Now, here's another one that's not too bad, but I had said that I wanted her to wear a white shirt and have blonde hair. It just did what it wanted. I told them don't aim the rifle, so that one just did whatever it wanted. Here's another one that he was supposed to have a red T-shirt on, but it's black. Okay. So again, this is supposed to be gingerbread scroll work here, which this is at the top, but not this. I don't know what this is. Here's another one where he was supposed to have, in this picture here, he's supposed to have a red t-shirt on and tattered jeans. That didn't happen. Here they look like a couple. She's supposed to be a 50-year-old woman who's his mother. Here's the same thing where you can't see any age difference. And again, he has on a white t-shirt. And here's another one where he looks like a clean cut male and he's supposed to look like a little bit of a degenerate and he has no shirt on, which I can't use or I don't want to use on a book cover. And again, she looks like his wife, not his older mother. Okay. And, it was just one bad example after another. Now, here's another one, Veer.com. Now, this one, I don't have a history with this one, so I can't show you any of the mistakes. But what I like about this particular company is that you can generate image to image. So when you're an author and you want to produce pictures where you want the characters to be consistent, this is important that not only are you giving the AI a verbal description of your characters, but you're also giving them a picture that they can reference. And they do pretty good, pretty good. But again, there's no way that I can use any of these pictures, nor have I ever been able to use any pictures without bringing it into GIMP, which is the program I use, and, removing things and adding things and blending two pictures. I have always needed to use digital skills in order to create book covers. And my point is, if companies think that they're going to have AI and they can just fire their whole media squad, they're not going to be able to do it. I'm not saying that they're not crazy enough to do it, but they're not going to be able to survive just relying on this artificial intelligence. Here's another one where, now this one was very good. This is Grok. Now, Grok could be a little temperamental. Okay. So I did have some trouble with it. It kept repeating the same pictures and not following the instructions. However, once I had a picture that I liked, I had originally said I wanted this guy to have sleeve tattoos, which he does have, and he had neck tattoos, which he has in the book. However, I didn't like the way it looked with the neck tattoos for the cover of the book. So I said, can you reproduce this picture without the neck tattoos? And it recreated the whole thing exactly as it was without the tattoos on the neck. So this is the only place that I've ever had that experience. In Gemini, when I ask it to recreate the same picture and remove something, it creates a completely different picture. The characters don't even match. So it's good to know that Grok has the ability to make a small change to what they have produced so that you can get closer to what you want. But still, you're going to have graphic skills because these people live in the story in the book. They have woods on the opposite side of their house. So I have to remove this part here and put in like a woods look to the picture. So again, I love the picture. It's great, but I need to use digital artist skills in order to make it work for the book cover. Now, which one? This was ChatGPT. And to be honest with you, I did not have any good results with ChatGPT, just giving it verbal descriptions and having it produce pictures. This was almost what I would call a waste of my time. If maybe I didn't want something so specific, it could have worked, and then as you can see, it's still working on my last request, which was, I probably posted it an hour ago. And then the other one that I used to subscribe to, but I stopped subscribing to it because it was a little bit too crazy, I guess. uh, was Leonardo AI. Okay. And Leonardo AI has a mind of its own. I would say that Leonardo AI is great for people who do fantasy work, or they want to do fantasy posters, or you want something that's very unusual. But if you are just trying to create scenes for a book, scenes, for an ad, scenes for a book cover, this one is going to be very hard to get to work for you. So I'm just going to show you some of the problems I had with it. First, I had asked for something where I was looking out the window and it delivered these portrait shots, which were completely useless. This one was the same thing where you can't really, there's not enough in the picture. I needed 16 by 9. So, although I like the way he looks, it's not the proper scene. Okay, so here is the aunt who is 50 years old. I didn't ask for any tattoos. She looks like she's 21. And I don't even know what this thing is here. It looks like a big oar from a boat. Okay, so that ruins that picture. This picture is, she's too young. She doesn't look 50 years old to me. This one, she doesn't look 50 years old. He's supposed to have a red shirt on. She's supposed to have a white shirt on. He's supposed to have blonde hair, clean shaven, with tattoos on his sleeves. So this is what it delivered. And the last one is the same thing. No blonde hair, no red shirt, no sleeve tattoos. She's 20 some odd years old and has a white t-shirt on and jewelry that I didn't ask for. So my point is that this AI is a lot of hype. And in just the same way that when I was a young woman, and the personal computers came out, they told us all we were going to become a paperless society. We were going to be done with all the paperwork. Well, as you know, we have more paperwork than we had before they had computers, because as soon as everybody got a personal computer, everybody got a personal printer too. So that didn't happen. Then they told us that Y2K, there was a problem with the computers and the whole world was going to collapse. Well, from New Year's Eve until the following day and to years after, nothing happened. There wasn't a bleep that happened that was different. So there's a lot of hype now, and I know there are people that have been fired, but their bosses are completely crazy, because if they think that they're going to be able to use AI and not have people with digital skills and graphic skills and creativity, they're completely insane. So they might be able to make do with less digital artists. That's quite possible, because this can save you hours of time, but they're still going to need a graphic artist staff of people, especially if they have a sizable business. Now, I have one more thing I want to say, and that is that I watched this video. Um, and what caught my attention is that this woman was reporting on Silicon Valley Insider exposes a cult-like AI companies. Now, she does go into that a little bit, but what is fascinating about what she said, first of all, she's a journalist, but earlier in her life, she's a graduate, has a doctorate from MIT, understands AI in a way that no one else does. And she is familiar and went to school with a lot of the guys that are now at the forefront of this whole AI movement. And what she said was that all of these terms, artificial intelligence, deep thinking, and there were some other catchy phrases, she said those are all marketing slogans. They have nothing to do with what AI is really capable of doing. And what she basically says is that this is mostly hype, that these models are not really thinking. They do things, okay? They will save graphic artists a lot of time and tedious work that they have had to do in the past. But there's no way that you can use these tools without creativity. and without the ability to know how each of these tools works, what they're good at, what they're not good at, and how you can then take what one or more of them spits out and then go into another graphics program and piece it together so that you can use it for whatever it is that you want. So anyway, that's the end of my video. I will put the link for this video here in case you want to listen to it, because the final thing I will say is that for anybody who is watching this, who's not a book writer, author, whatever, and you just happen to be interested in the title of my video, which is about not panicking and how this AI is a little bit of a hype, I think you should take it as encouragement that you will have to change your skill set. And the first thing you're going to need to do is get a handle on all of these different tools, what each of them are good at and what each of them is not good at. And you're still going to be able to use your graphic skills, because I've always had to piece together AI, anything it produces, it gets some things right, some things not right, and some things I want to put some book branding onto the covers or the pictures or the social media ads. So to make those changes, you need to have graphic skills and you need to be able to work in a program like Photoshop or GIMP or any of these others that they have. So anyway, that's my final say so. So if anybody is still listening, I'd like to thank you for listening to my videos. I'm going to leave you with a panel of all of my books that are available on Amazon. The name of the short story, it's actually a novelette that I will be releasing soon. At least the working title right now is Writer's Block. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video.